Outrageous Chapter 52. Lusi Jiao was surprised at her discovery. She could not have imagined not only finding out her sister was secretly in the entertainment industry, she even found out her sister liked someone. And it was a male actor from the same crew. She looked at her phone in disbelief, then went to look through other people's Weibo accounts. Only to find out that in the whole crew, only Ying Xize had posted stuff and tagged her sister on Weibo. The rest of the crew had just followed her out of politeness, but there was no other interaction. There was only one interaction. She only gave him a hand-knitted hat. Lusi Jiao completely couldn't help herself from thinking this had deeper implications. Ying Xize. Would he really become her brother-in-law? She opened Ying Xize's Weibo post again. From it, Ying Xize really did seem to like this hat a lot. And calling her Jija so intimately, it looked like he really did have a good relationship with this Jija. So, Ying Xize probably also really liked her sister. Her sister and Ying Xize were acting out a older sister-younger brother romance. But what if Ying Xize was a scumbag? No, she had to investigate Ying Xize to prevent her sister from being cheated. As to how to investigate, she stuck her head out again. My dear sisters, can I ask, who knows anything about Ying Xize? Her 3 dorm mates. Lusi Jiao was worried about her sister's marriage, so she started asking. Has Ying Xize ever dated before? How is he in a relationship? Does he play around? How is his character? Are there any relevant interviews that can be watched? Dorm mates. Are you investigating his entire background? Seeing their dazed faces, Lusi Jiao knew she could only rely on herself, so she went to search for Ying Xize's interviews. She found out Ying Xize had described his ideal type before. Not her sister, but Sang Wansi. He expressed his happiness and honor to be working with Sang Wansi. And he said he was looking forward to working together with her again. Here he was buttering up Sang Wansi on one hand, and showing off Liu Jiwei's gift on Weibo on the other. Lusi Jiao. My sister wouldn't be a backup tire for him, would she? Fuck, Ying Xize, you smelly scumbag. No, she had to find a way to remind Liu Jiwei not to be charmed by these smelly men. Liu Jiwei was taking a bath slowly. After giving away her first kiss, and still having that messy mission weighing on her shoulders, she suddenly didn't know how to face the person outside. Their relationship seemed to have changed because of that sudden kiss. It was not pure anymore. The worst part was, she did not know if Sang Wansi felt the same way, or if she was the only one thinking so. Because Sang Wansi looked like she was really only purely curious about how kissing felt. Sang Wansi was the one who suggested kissing, but she was the one who was confused. What sort of logic is this? Did this happen to others too? She had never made friends with other people before, so she did not have a lot of experience in this area. She wanted to talk to someone about it, but she did not have any friends. She definitely couldn't talk to Wen Yao about it. She was her manager after all, and Liu Jiwei was worried she'd ask about it and say it was affecting her work. She also couldn't talk to Ying Xize, since he knew Sang Wansi. What if he brought it up to Sang Wansi? How awkward would that be? Lusi Jiao. No way, that kid was still young. Thinking about it, there was only one person left. Her mommy Fan Lao Wu. Thinking about Lao Wu, she suddenly sighed in relief. It will work, it is possible. No matter what, at least there is still Lao Wu who she can sit down with and talk about it. But if she wanted to talk about it now, she had to hurry up and go out. There was a privacy protection mechanism when she entered the bathroom. The system couldn't see anything or hear anything. Speaking of which, she did not know how Lao Wu was getting along researching the system. As she thought about it, she hurried up. 10 minutes later, she walked out of the bathroom. The room was silent, with only the sound of paper rustling. She saw Sangwon Ci sitting on the sofa and reading the script. Her washed hair had not been blown dry yet, the hairdryer was placed next to her leg. Thinking about it, Lu Jiwei decided to remind her, "Wan Ci, blow dry your hair first before reading." Sangwon Ci turned around and glanced at her, then continued looking at the script. I got it, I'll do it in a bit." Lu Jiwei sighed. She truly was our career-minded female lead. Let's hope she'll read a few more lines and then blow dry her hair. Lu Jiwei did not know where to sit, she was too embarrassed to sit next to Sangwon Ci. She thought about it and opened the balcony door, closing it behind her as she sat outside and looked at the moon. It was convenient for her to talk to Lao Wu too. "Lao Wu, how is it?" she said in her heart. Lao Wu had just finished the analysis, and he looked at the results. "I just saw, according to the original script's progress and your current progress, the system has already determined you and Sangwon Ci to be a couple." Lu Jiwei. "Lao Wu, all that's lacking is the confession." Lu Jiwei was shocked. "Is this reasonable? Isn't it ridiculous? How can we be a couple?" Lao Wu rebutted, "How is not it reasonable? In the original script, sleeping in the same bed and kissing, those are all things to be done after confirming your relationship." He knocked on the console with his pen, issuing the most fatal blow: "Which friend will kiss another friend? This relationship isn't pure at all." Lu Jiwei suddenly was speechless. She held her forehead in her hand, unconsciously thinking about that kiss. The more she thought about it, the shyer she felt. The more she thought about it, the faster her heart raced. Okay, there's no need to ask any more. Even Lao Wu felt like this wasn't a pure friendship anymore. But she could not figure out Sangwon Ci thinking about it. She sneakily turned back to look at the person in the room. Sangwon Ci was still reading the script, her expression serious and calm, as if nothing had happened. Or maybe to her, it was just another experiment that was nothing out of the ordinary. Just like it was the first time she filmed a kiss scene. You could not say she liked the other person just because they kissed. It was just a requirement of the job. Lao Wu saw Lu Jiwei's dilemma and started consoling her. "I do not know what happened between you two, but it's a good sign nonetheless. Think about it positively, if she's willing to kiss you now, then there's a very big chance she could be willing to like you in the future, right? Then would not it be much easier to follow the love line when you're completing your missions?" Thinking about it, Lu Jiwei felt that the logic was right. What was there for her to be depressed about? She had to be optimistic about everything. Sangwon Ci was willing to try with her, and not with Chu Luo. The current male lead had won over the original male lead again. Her mood lifted slightly. "Then what do we do about this system?" Lu Jiwei asked. "There's an error in its judgment, and if it keeps issuing some missions I cannot complete, I cannot possibly keep getting shocked for nothing, right?" Lao Wu scratched his eyebrow. This was indeed a problem. Because of the female lead Sangwon Ci not following the script, the system's judgment was also not following the script. The missions were brought forward by a lot, and the innocent host was dragged into it. The accidents in this world were just piling up non-stop. Lao Wu propped up his chin as he looked at the display. After a moment, "I can't change the system's judgments, but I can help you adjust the intensity of the punishment." Hearing that, Lu Jiwei's eyes shone. "How can it be changed? How about we just skip it entirely?" Lao Wu laughed. "Wake up, even a high-level administrator can only adjust the intensity of the punishment when taking into account the situation. The system needed the host to complete the missions, but at the same time, it was scared of the host not doing the missions. So the system had this carrot and stick method. If you did well, you would get the carrot. If you did not do well, you'd get the stick. With these two methods of motivation, the host would be pushed to complete the missions on their own. The administrators had no way to turn off the punishment system. Liu Jiwei's smile instantly collapsed. But thinking about it, being able to change the intensity was still better than not being able to change it. So she started anticipating it. How can it be changed? Lao Wu said, because of the large discrepancy in the script and the mission being too advanced, I can help you change the intensity to the lowest and reduce the scope of it, choosing an area of the body to limit it to. Basically, it'll just be a small electric current that can be in the hand or foot, so it won't be as strong as before, and it won't make you wail in pain. How about it? It's okay, right? Liu Jiwei was hesitant. Really, just a small one? Lao Wu, just a bit. Liu Jiwei was worried. Will it hurt? Lao Wu, It'll be a bit numb. Liu Jiwei. Lao Wu explained, there's no other lower intensity, this is the biggest compromise I can make at the moment, and I can only make it because of the unique situation. Complete immunity is a very high-level activity, and it's limited to the people with the highest authority in the system. We high-level administrators can't autonomously go beyond our authority, or... You get it, right? Liu Jiwei, you'll be dragged away by the higher UPS. Lao Wu made a light sound, not confirming or denying her question. Liu Jiwei understood, I can't put you in harm's way, let us do it as you suggested. She didn't understand the rules in the system. She also couldn't harm Lao Wu. Lao Wu had already helped her secretly a few times. The immunity pass was given to her by Lao Wu too, she couldn't betray him. She thought about the last few times she got a shock. Each time, all four limbs were being tortured. Her whole body was numb and painful, and it was awkward because she always got punished in front of Sang Wansi. So she still had to endure the pain and numbness and try to recover her dignity in front of Sang Wansi. If she could choose just a foot or a hand, she could unwillingly accept it. Lao Wu kept his pen, saying happily, all right, that's decided then, I'll go do it now, I'll try my best to. He squinted and looked at the mission, holding back a laugh as he read each word out. Readjust the punishment intensity for your, a spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold, mission. Liu Jiwei. You're really unprofessional at holding back your laughter. She didn't want to bother with this mommy fan anymore, turning back to look at Sang Wansi. Only to find out that Sang Wansi still hadn't blown dry her hair, and she was still reading the script. She sighed and walked in. You have to blow dry your hair after bathing. Sang Wansi raised her head and looked at her. Liu Jiwei picked up the hairdryer. You continue reading, I'll help you do it. Her fingers had finally recovered after a few days of rest. Now it was no longer a problem to help someone blow dry their hair. After another day or two, she would be able to go back and continue filming. Sang Wansi did not refuse. But when Liu Jiwei sat behind her, she no longer had the heart to look at the script. She wanted to ask Liu Jiwei. Were you avoiding me just now? Liu Jiwei was confused when faced with such a sudden question. What? Sang Wansi clarified, when you went to bathe, you looked at me and then ran away quickly. Liu Jiwei. Is not that because I was embarrassed, especially when thinking about that damn mission the system gave, she was even more embarrassed. Sang Wansi didn't hear a response and she could not see Liu Jiwei's face, so she did not know what the other woman was thinking. She suddenly grew a bit worried. Worried Liu Jiwei did not like it, worried that Liu Jiwei would distance herself from her. If I did anything to make you unhappy, you must tell me. Sang Wansi said. Sang Wansi's words were clearly carefully said as if she was afraid Liu Jiwei was angry. Liu Jiwei laughed. Our teacher Sang did not do anything that I did not like. Including that kiss. Sang Wansi asked suddenly. Liu Jiwei's hand stopped as she thought about that pair of soft lips, her cheeks instantly flushing. Including that kiss. Sang Wansi sighed in relief. That was good then. Liu Jiwei found out only now that Sang Wansi actually was not as unperturbed as she always looked. She would worry about Liu Jiwei's feelings, would worry that Liu Jiwei was not happy, was not willing. She was indeed a thoughtful and considerate child, not even disdaining her poor kissing skills. She felt consoled. Then she heard Sang Wansi ask, "Then why did you agree to kiss me?" Liu Jiwei paused. When they were still friends, she didn't know how to answer this question honestly. Because of the mission, but more because of her own selfish desire to try it. Would it seem like she had ulterior motives if she directly said I also wanted to see what kissing you would feel like? She thought about it for a moment, then answered, because nobody can refuse you. It wasn't that she would always agree when she was called Jija, but it was because she didn't know how to refuse Sang Wansi's requests. The pretty, mesmerizing Sang Wansi didn't really like this answer. It sounded unique, yet not unique. Because nobody could refuse her, so anybody else would have agreed in that situation. Was it really because of this, and there was no selfishness involved in it? Is that so? Sang Wansi's tone was calm. Sitting behind her, Liu Jiwei couldn't see her face and did not notice anything wrong with her tone. My hand is pretty much recovered, I can cook, she asked as she gently blew dry Sang Wansi's hair. Is there anything you want to eat or do you still want dumplings? Hearing that, Sang Wansi turned around and grabbed her hand, spreading it open and looking at her fingers. Her recovery had been good these few days, the wound had closed up and there was new skin growing. Sang Wansi's fingers gently rubbed against her fingertips. Now it did not hurt no matter how it was pressed, unlike in the beginning where she would suck in deep inhales just when medicine was applied. But even so, Sang Wansi did not want Liu Jiwei to trouble herself. No need, there's plenty of food outside. Let Xiao Chu buy it, don't overwork yourself. Liu Jiwei didn't agree. How is it tiring to cook for you? Besides, don't I have to use my identity as a chef to stay with you? I should show my skill. These are all stuff I should do. If you refuse again, then you're taking me as an outsider. How about it? Do you want to have some chicken soup? If yes, I'll start boiling it tomorrow morning so Xiao Chu can bring it over to you in the afternoon. Sang Wansi suddenly felt amused. Clearly, she was the one who was the most formal at the start, now she was asking Sang Wansi not to be formal with her. Whatever, anything's fine, Sang Wansi compromised. Everything you make is delicious, I like it all. Liu Jiwei smiled, wow, our teacher Sang's mouth is really sweet. Sang Wansi turned around and sat back, smiling slightly as she said ambiguously, Jija's mouth is also very sweet. Not only sweet, but very fragrant. Fruit-flavored. Liu Jiwei. Wait, is this woman teasing me? At 8 in the morning, Sang Wansi got out of bed and started washing up. Liu Jiwei blearily got up too. Sang Wansi came out of the bathroom to see Liu Jiwei getting up on all fours, her eyes still closed, and asked curiously, "Why are you up so early?" Liu Jiwei rubbed her eyes. "I need to go to the supermarket." Although she was still half asleep, she remembered she had to go to the supermarket. If she started cooking earlier, then Sang Wansi would be able to drink the chicken soup in the afternoon. Sang Wansi's heart suddenly felt warm as her voice grew gentler. "It's okay, I can have it at night too. Rest a bit more." Liu Jiwei sat on the side of the bed, a foot on the ground. She waved a hand. How could she change something that had already been promised? "It's all right, tell Xiao Chu that I'll cook for her too, so she does not have to go out and buy." Then, she yawned a big yawn. She looked at the curtains that were pulled back halfway. The sun was bright and the wind was gentle. It was a good day. Seeing it, her mood grew better. A beautiful day should start like this, with beautiful weather. She got up slowly. At this moment, the system's voice rang in her head. "System judgment, mission a spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold failed. Punishment commence." Liu Jiwei froze. "Wait, why are you only punishing me now? It's already 8 in the morning." The system did not care, mercilessly sending out an electric shock. Liu Jiwei's left leg was shocked, feeling like ants were biting it, but it did not hurt. It was just numbing, and her leg went soft. Liu Jiwei immediately woke up. Her center of gravity was tilting over and she was about to fall. She was a bit despondent at performing an embarrassing show of someone who couldn't stand properly early in the morning for Sang Wansi. Sang Wansi's reaction was quicker than hers. The next second, she had already hugged Liu Jiwei in an embrace. The arm around her waist tightened, as if scared she would fall again. Liu Jiwei looked up in surprise. Sang Wansi did not let go, her face full of worry. "Are you okay?" Liu Jiwei smiled awkwardly. "It's fine, I just hadn't woken up yet and did not stand properly." As she was trying to explain herself, she was scolding the system in her heart. "Why did you punish me now? Is that the meaning of a whole night? Then your whole night is too long and too outrageous." Lao Wu had started work and explained considerately, "The system will only punish you when you're awake, it would not let you escape." Liu Jiwei. "That was not really necessary." Lao Wu asked. "I changed the intensity and you've just experienced it, it should be acceptable." Liu Jiwei immediately said, "Compared to the past, this is too acceptable." Lao Wu yawned, "That's good. I'm going to have breakfast first, call me if there's anything." Liu Jiwei, go, eat more." Having ended her conversation with Lao Wu, Liu Jiwei looked at Sang Wansi. Sang Wansi had just washed up, her bare face was clean and refreshing. Even if she did not have makeup on, her features were still stunningly pretty. The closer you were to her, the faster your heart would beat. Liu Jiwei couldn't help but start suspecting some stuff. Would someone as perfect and as beautiful as her really like someone like me, a transparent entity who hasn't achieved anything? If she really has to be with me, then wouldn't it be wronging her? Her now wasn't worthy of Sang Wansi. Liu Jiwei suddenly felt a bit upset, but she didn't know why she was so upset. Thinking about it, she probably felt it was not fair. If she could not be a good match for Sang Wansi but was still shoehorned into being her lover to save this world, then it was wronging her too. Sang Wansi noticed Liu Jiwei kept staring at her, so she asked curiously, "What is it? Is there something on my face?" Liu Jiwei returned to her senses, smiling, "No, I just thought our teacher Sang is really good looking, so I took a few more glances." "Well done, I'm really an opportunistic fan." Sang Wansi smiled, "Am I the most good looking in your heart?" Liu Jiwei frantically nodded, wearing her fan identity. Sang Wansi raised an eyebrow, more than Teacher Meng. Liu Jiwei. It's early in the morning, let us not have this sort of lethal question. Sang Wansi knew the answer, she just suddenly wanted to tease her. Seeing Liu Jiwei in a daze, it was quite cute. Cute to the point she could not resist hugging Liu Jiwei. Liu Jiwei froze, suddenly finding herself in a hug. Jiwei's very cute. Sang Wansi said. Liu Jiwei blinked, feeling like a kid was whining to her. She hugged Sang Wansi back, rubbing her head gently. Our Wansi is also cute. Sang Wansi asked again, the cutest in your heart? She did not know what was going on with her either. From last night, she had stubbornly wanted to be the most in Liu Jiwei's heart. She wanted to win against everyone else, she wanted to be the most unique, she wanted to be the only one to Liu Jiwei. The cutest in my heart. She was a little wiser this time. No comparing to Teacher Meng, I'm not acquainted with her. Sang Wansi chuckled, burying her face in Liu Jiwei's shoulder. Not comparing with her this time. We'll compare next time. Liu Jiwei rubbed her head comfortingly, be good, I'm going to brush my teeth. Okay. Liu Jiwei went out after eating breakfast. By the time she finished purchasing a bunch of ingredients and equipment, it was already 10 o'clock when she got back to the hotel room. She was going to make a nutritious chicken soup for Sang Wansi, and it'll take a while. So she came back first to prepare the soup, the other dishes could wait till it was closer to lunchtime. She put the lid on and put the pot on a low simmer. Picking up her phone to check the time, Liu Jiwei walked to the living room to take a break. She logged into her side account and started browsing Weibo. There were quite a few movies and dramas announcing their main characters. Looking at it, she suddenly felt a bit envious. She didn't know when her name would appear as a main character. In this line of work, who didn't want to be the main character? Just as she was thinking of it, the system popped out and gave her another mission. Mission issued, be a main character. System reminder, no time limit. Liu Jiwei. Good fellow, will you issue a mission as long as I think of it? Lao Wu came back biting into a sandwich, just in time to see the system issue a new mission. This time, it was finally a mission to do with the career line. Being a main character, that was so easy. Liu Jiwei. She was lost. Is it easy? Which drama is looking for me to be the main character? Lao Wu was steady, you're not worse than others, you definitely can do it. Don't panic, there's no time limit anyway. Liu Jiwei didn't know if she could do it. Thinking about it, she called Wen Yao to ask if there were any dramas looking to cast characters. She didn't have long to go here, half a month at the shortest and a month at the longest. She had to start planning what to do after leaving the crew. There is. Wen Yao's voice was crisp. I just got a call for an audition a few days ago. I looked at every role and I thought the female lead really suited you. I wanted to bring you to audition for it. It's the day after. But that's the female lead, it might be a bit tougher to fight for it. It all depends on whether you want to try. If you don't want to, we can consider continuing to strive for smaller roles. Thinking about Lao Wu's you're not worse than others, Liu Jiwei's heart started to waver. That's right, she wasn't worse than others, why couldn't she consider lead roles? I want to try, she said. Hearing that, Wen Yao was happy. Okay, then let us try to get the lead role. You don't have to worry about the production, the quality is decent. I heard they even invited Meng Lianyu. Liu Jiwei. She couldn't dare to believe it. Invited who? Wen Yao, Meng Lian Yu. Lu Jiwei was shocked. Lu Jiwei definitely could do it now. Go. She definitely had to go to this production. Even if she acted as some small extra, she had to go. Outrageous Chapter 53. Lu Jiwei was a very principled person. But when meeting the light of her life, Teacher Meng, she could temporarily have no principles. That was Meng Lian Yu. Could principles compare with Meng Lian Yu? No. Teacher Meng was the most important in the world. Wen Yao could feel Lu Jiwei's passion through the phone, asking curiously, Jiwei ji, you like Meng Lian Yu? Lu Jiwei nodded frantically, yes, yes. Wen Yao, oh, then work hard to get it. If you enter the crew, you'll have a chance to meet with your idol. Hearing that, Lu Jiwei was motivated, But why would a production that could invite Meng Lian Yu still have the female lead role open? Could it be that they decided Meng Lian Yu's role first, then decided the leads with such a big celebrity like Meng Lian Yu? Nobody wanted to snatch the role of the lead in this show. She voiced her suspicions to Wen Yao. Wen Yao replied, no, the male lead has long been decided, only the female lead is left. Because the director is very strict and the actresses that auditioned before all did not match what he wanted his female lead to be, so he publicly called for auditions. The investors did not interfere either, saying that they handed the show to him, so of course he would have free rein in choosing who would be the leads. Even though that was the case, Wen Yao was still a bit uncertain. She felt that Lu Jiwei matched the female lead's character, but the director might not think so. Aside from that, even if the director felt that Lu Jiwei was a match, but would he really be willing to use a small actress like Lu Jiwei in the end? He might just go with a popular actress. She did not dare to have too much hope. But since Lu Jiwei was willing to go, then she was willing to tag along and root for her. Hearing that the director was strict, Lu Jiwei had a measure of things in her heart. It is all right, we will leave it up to fate and just treat it as getting more experience. It's fine if she couldn't bump into Meng Lian Yu this time, it is also fine if she could not get the female lead role. Taking one step at a time, she believed there would come a day when she could walk to Meng Lian Yu and personally thank her. No matter what, as long as you try your best. Wen Yao showered her in chicken soup again, then changed the topic. How is your hand? There are still 2 days of leave that Director Guo gave, right? Then I will fetch you tomorrow and we will go for the audition the next day, or else I am afraid that it might be a bit rushed if I fetch you from the scene on the morning of the audition itself. Lu Jiwei did not mind. She said, sure, anything works, whatever you say. At that moment, she felt like she was very similar to someone. Sang Wansi. She would always say such stuff to Lu Jiwei. She did not know when she started becoming like this too. Thinking about Sang Wansi, she thought about the soup she was boiling, hurrying over to take a look. Xiao Chu walked out of Sang Wansi's hotel with 2 food containers. She did not understand why Sang Wansi suddenly did not want to eat the food from the restaurant, opting instead of Lu Jiwei's food. Was it really that good? She thought about when she was watching Lu Jiwei fill up the containers. The soup was fresh and aromatic, the dishes were varied and looked colorful. It looked and smelled pretty okay. Hopefully it was good. As a glutton, she prayed earnestly in her heart. It was time for lunch. Chu Luo was preparing to get into his car to eat, along with his assistant. Turning around, he saw Sang Wansi sitting at the same spot without moving. He looked around, the assistant Xiao Chu who would normally deliver food to her punctually was nowhere to be seen. Chu Luo raised an eyebrow, walking over and saying, your assistant did not come, then do you want to eat lunch with me? My assistant bought enough food. Sang Wansi refused politely, "No need, thanks, she will be here soon." If she could eat Lu Jiwei's food, why should she still eat food from other people? Besides, she had not eaten Lu Jiwei's food in a while and she missed it. Seeing the two of them not leaving for lunch, Guo Hui walked over in curiosity. "What are the two of you doing? Not eating? There are still scenes to be filmed later, you will not have strength if you do not eat." Sang Wansi stood up, "I am waiting for my assistant. Jiwei cooked for me, so she went to fetch the food and she is coming over now." Guo Hui was a little surprised. "Oh, Xiao Lu can cook?" Sang Wansi nodded, smiling, "She can, her food is delicious." Chu Luo. He did not mishear, did he? Lu Jiwei cooks? So Sang Wansi was sitting here and just waiting for Lu Jiwei's food. Guo Hui, then her hands are recovering well. Sang Wansi was like Lu Jiwei's spokesperson, she will be able to return to filming after her hand completely recovers in the next 2 days. Guo Hui patted her shoulder, "You have worked hard taking care of her these few days. She will move out after her hands recover." Sang Wansi's eyes moved, looking in Chu Luo's direction, then moving back to Guo Hui. "I'm not intending to let her move out." Guo Hui looked at her in confusion. Chu Luo stared at her, wanting to hear what she would say. Sang Wansi's expression was calm, "I have someone to talk to and to rehearse with if I stay with her, and I can even eat her food. So I am keeping her." Guo Hui laughed, "Is it really that delicious?" Chu Luo scoffed coldly internally. It must be some ploy to charm others. He did not believe it. Sang Wansi said calmly, "She made chicken soup, I'll give you a bowl later so you can try it." In the hotel, Lu Jiwei was looking at the audition information that Wen Yao sent over. It was a modern idol drama about musicians and their dreams. The female lead was a violinist. Her dream was to be able to stand on the most visible stage to perform one day. She was suddenly very curious as to what role Meng Lianyu would play in this drama. How many scenes would Meng Lianyu have in this show if she really got in? What would she say to Meng Lianyu? Just a word of thanks. She sunk into her thoughts, then quickly pulled herself back. How could she dream when the auditions had not even started yet? She pinched her cheeks to wake herself up. Thinking about Phoenix's trailer releasing today, she quickly went on Weibo and opened the official page for Phoenix. The official trailer was around 9 minutes. The two leads met, got to know each other, and eventually became enemies. The character that she acted as, Xiao He, appeared on screen proudly with the main topic loyalty, self-sacrificing. She took another look at herself. She had no lines, since she was a stammering character anyway. She did not have a lot of scenes, but the effect was good, not dragging anyone down. Being able to achieve this result, she was already very satisfied, a hint of happiness showing in her eyebrows. It had not even been more than half an hour when the teaser released, but the comments section was already on fire. "At my neck hurts, I can do it again. At I went out to beg for food, Zeze, you're so handsome, you are not allowed to be a scumbag, dame. At metaphysics cannot change your life, money can't save you, this story is teaching us that you shouldn't be a scumbag or you will not have a good ending. Support, but I still want to say, Zeze is so handsome. Sang Sang is so pretty. I love watching handsome men acting with pretty ladies. At 34 degrees C and cloudy, I am all fired up. Release date, hurry up, I am tired of saying these 2 words, I want to see my wife Sang Sang." Lu Jiwei slowly scrolled the comments section. She knew the comments section was pretty much focused on discussing the leads and the veteran actors, with nothing to do with her. There was no moderator controlling the conversation and the fans were surprisingly cordial while amwaying their idols. She could not help but look at the comments on Sang Won-si. All of her emotions were driven by these 3 words. If someone praised Sang Won-si, she was happy. If someone criticized Sang Won-si randomly, she would be annoyed. As someone who had witnessed Sang Won-si's growth until now, she dared to pat her chest and swear that Sang Won-si's efforts warranted her current success, and warranted even more success. How could such a good person be slandered? Her fist was hard. After she got angry, she suddenly realized. Wait, what's with my attitude? Did I really become her fan? I faked it until I made it. Thinking about it, she calmed down. So be it if it was real. Our teacher Sang was worth it. As she scrolled, a comment with a photo came into view. At Pink Galaxy, save me SOS, who is this Mimi? Her expression is killing me. 3 minutes, I want all the information on her. Photo. She opened the photo and froze. It was her. She was wearing the female lead's coat in the photo, a spear pierced through her shoulder by the enemy as blood flowed down. She was leaning against a wall, holding onto the spear as her chin was raised slightly, rivulets of blood trickling out of the corner of her mouth. Even so, her expression was fearless, her eyes filled with a surprising strength. This comment had been upvoted hundreds of times, with a lot of people replying. At Moving Bricks, this expression is too good. At 0:40 minutes, she is pretty easy on the eyes. The first impression is that she is clean and comfortable, but she is so pretty after looking at her for a longer time. At GWW give me a big iron, this blood puking is a little attractive shy. At hurry up and go home, I know, she's Sang Won-si's instant noodle buddy. She was the one who went on the hot search the last time with Sang Won-si dog head dog head dog head. At Japanese salt bread, instant noodle buddy, the grass is growing. Liu Jiwei looked at it blankly, not daring to believe it. They were discussing her the Xiaohe that she acted as she had really been seen. Of course, in this Amway-able place, there was definitely one person present. She saw her one and only fan again. At Xiao Xiaoye, new actress Liu Jiwei, a shining character, you won't lose out if you follow her heart. Welcome everybody to click into my page and eat my jijjas. Amway heart rose rose heart softly, she just started, there aren't many fans, if you become her fan now, you'll always be an iron fan in the future. She posted it thrice, as if she was afraid others wouldn't be able to see it. A single person had the presence of thousands of people. Liu Jiwei could almost see a small person jumping up frantically in the sea of humans, working hard to attract everybody's eyes. Hard-working and lonely. Almost like the her from before. Liu Jiwei smiled and couldn't help the tears from swelling in her eyes. This emotion couldn't be ignored. It was so nice to have someone see her hard work, to have someone who liked her. She was suddenly filled with strength. She must continue to work hard, to let Xiao Qiao know she didn't make a mistake becoming her fan. Dong dong, the door was suddenly knocked. Liu Jiwei quickly wiped away the tears at the corners of her eyes and got up, looking into the peephole. Xiao Qiu. Opening the door, Xiao Qiu brought the food containers back into the room. She said, Xiao Sang shared your soup with Director Guo and the rest of the production crew, asking everybody to try your cooking. And then Director Guo said, Liu Jiwei's face was filled with curiosity, said what? Xiao Qiu laughed, she said her suite still has a room. If you do not want to stay with Xiao Sang, you can stay with her, just cook for her. Liu Jiwei signed in relief and smiled. It was good they liked it. This way, it would be even more convincing as an excuse for her to stay with Sang Wansi. Xiao Qiu rubbed her nose in embarrassment. Thanks for making lunch for me, it is really very delicious, so can I trouble you for food again next time? Liu Jiwei smiled, of course. You guys eat lunch together, I'll just make 2 portions so you don't have to always go buy food. Thanks Jiwei Ji. Xiao Qiu basically wanted to scream hooray. From today on, Liu Jiwei was her Ji, with such great cooking skills. The relationship between the two of them was suddenly more intimate with this Ji being called. The awkwardness was all swept away. Liu Jiwei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Relationships between people were simply so amazing. Then will you still be cooking tomorrow? Xiao Qiu asked in anticipation. Liu Jiwei shook her head. I cannot tomorrow, I have something to do, so I need to leave the set, I will only be back the following day. Xiao Qiu blinked slowly. Liu Jiwei consoled her, it is all right, isn't there still tonight, just tell me what you want to eat. Xiao Qiu's expression smoothed out, okay. I will reimburse the groceries. Oh yes, is someone coming to fetch you? If not, I can drive you there. There is, my manager will come and fetch me. Oh, okay then. And, Xiao Qiu looked at her. Does Xiao Sang know about it? Tomorrow. Sang Wansi looked at Xiao Qiu suspiciously. Xiao Qiu helped her arrange her wig as she nodded. Jiwei Ji said she had to do something and her manager would pick her up. She said she will tell you once you get back. Sang Wansi showed a knowing expression. She straightened her sleeve as she looked at Xiao Qiu. When did you start calling her Ji? This was her first time hearing Xiao Qiu call Liu Jiwei Ji. In the past, she would either call her full name or politely call her Miss Liu. She had never been so casual. Xiao Qiu laughed cheekily, with her cooking skills, she's my Ji from now on. Following Jiwei Ji, there would always be delicious food. Sang Wansi raised an eyebrow. This was not anything big. Liu Jiwei was older than them anyway, so it was natural to call her Ji. Xiao Qiu looked at Sang Wansi, emotional, thank you, Xiao Sang. Sang Wansi was holding on to the script. Xiao Qiu's smile was genuine, I can only get free food because of you. Sang Wansi, you're welcome. Xiao Qiu said excitedly, Jiwei Ji said she will cook tonight too. Can I go back and eat with you? Sang Wansi nodded, Xiao Qiu happily took the script from her, thank you Teacher Sang. Teacher Sang is really a good person. Sang Wansi looked at her in amusement, then left to film. This scene was the scene that the male and female leads confirmed their feelings for each other. She had exchanged her first kiss with Liu Jiwei in this scene. Until now, she could not forget the kiss that had a trace of fruits. It was a warm imprint in her life, whether it was the kiss or the atmosphere at that moment. They were all worth remembering in the future. As for this scene with Qiu Luo, there was no way they were going to kiss. Aside from the angle trick, he better not dream of anything else. Qiu Luo did not think so. Even if they were using the angle trick, he wanted to let Sang Wansi feel his charisma. Maybe Sang Wansi would be moved in that second, realizing she truly loved him and she could not help but kiss him. He wanted to ask, when his handsome face was magnified and close to someone's eyes, who could refuse? Nobody could. The person who would refuse had not been born yet. Qiu Luo raised his chin arrogantly, brushing away a lock of his wig. This blasted charisma that I cannot put anywhere else safely. Sang Wansi looked on from afar, feeling like this person could not be trusted. So before they went to film, she went to have a friendly exchange with Qiu Luo. She walked to Chu Luo and took the initiative to grab his hand. Mr. Chu. Chu Luo was stunned. See, this is the first step to clarity. He confidently showed a handsome smile, his teeth white and gleaming. Is something the matter, Miss Sang? There's something I want to make clear to you before we start filming. When we're doing the angle trick later, if you dare to kiss me, Sang Wansi suddenly applied pressure with her hand, her face unchanging. You're a dead man. A hand that looked weak and dainty suddenly applied enough strength to crush a mountain. Chu Luo's eyes suddenly widened, he felt like his hand was about to be pulverized. Pain, 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 he cried out in defeat. Sang Wansi eased up on the pressure as she patted his forearm, turning to leave. Chu Luo looked at his red hand, then looked at her slender back. Suddenly, he had no doubt about what Sang Wansi said. If I dare to try to kiss her, she'll definitely twist my head off. How did this woman have such great strength? Did she train before? He didn't understand, his hand hurt. After this friendly exchange, the two of them had reached a silent understanding. Aside from the script's request, there were no extra movements, neither of them offending the other. Sang Wansi suddenly felt like she had grasped the technique to keep Chu Luo in line. When Sang Wansi was done with work, the sky was already dark. She took out her phone, seeing Liu Jiwei's message. Jiwei, have you finished work? Are you coming back? Jiwei, if so, then I will start cooking. Jiwei, Xiao Chu said you shared the soup with Director Guo and the rest, so you did not have any to drink. So I cooked more soup, you will be able to drink it once you come back. Jiwei, the rice is ready too, it is just the dishes left. Jiwei, remember to reply once you see the messages. Seeing these messages, Sang Wansi suddenly had a feeling. It was like Liu Jiwei was her lover, cooking every day and waiting for her to come home. Thinking about it, she did not feel repulsed, but there was a simple warmth. 3 meals a day, something to look forward to, someone that was waiting for her. Was not it good to live this sort of life? Sang Wansi, I'm preparing to go back now. Sang Wansi, you've worked hard, do you need me to bring anything back? Jiwei, no need, just bring yourself back safely to have dinner. Jiwei patted me. Sang Wansi didn't know why, but she suddenly wanted to see her. The faster the better. If possible, she even wanted to give her a hug and say in her ear, I'm back. Let us go, Xiao Sang. Xiao Chu's voice suddenly rang out. Sang Wansi's thoughts were pulled back and she looked at Xiao Chu. Only to see the other person looking at her in anticipation, anxious to eat. Sang Wansi, looks like there won't be any chance of that. Remembering that Xiao Chu would be coming over to dinner, Liu Jiwei cooked plenty of food. When she was cooking the dishes, she was a little dazed. In the past, she was a hermit who would only cook for one. In the blink of an eye, she was suddenly cooking for 3 people. Life was truly filled with surprises and unexpected incidents. And in the blink of an eye, she had already gotten to know Sang Wansi for almost a year. Time really flew by, she mused. At that moment, someone opened the door from outside. Sang Wansi and Xiao Chu had returned. The first thing Sang Wansi did after entering the room was look for Liu Jiwei. Liu Jiwei had just finished frying the second dish, turning to see Sang Wansi standing at the entrance of the kitchen. She called out, "You're back." Sang Wansi nodded lightly, a faint, warm smile on her lips. I am back. Was it boring staying here alone? Liu Jiwei shook her head and smiled. Not boring. Phoenix's trailer came out. I could look at everybody's comments and reactions for an entire day. Sang Won-si only just realized today was the official trailer release for Phoenix, planning to look at it later. She scanned the kitchen. The originally empty room was now filled with groceries, pots and pans and more. It looks like Liu Jiwei had bought plenty of things today. The food containers they had used in the afternoon had been washed clean and set aside. It was as if as long as Liu Jiwei was around, things would never get messy. Liu Jiwei let her first drink a bowl of soup. The dishes will be ready soon. Sit outside and slowly drink the soup while waiting. Do not you need me to help? Sang Won-si asked. No need, Liu Jiwei answered. You have worked the entire day, you should rest. Xiao Chu also appeared at the entrance and agreed, that is right Xiao Sang, you've filmed for the entire day. Go sit and rest, I will help her. Sang Won-si turned and left to sit in the living room. She took out her phone and opened Weibo. Looking at Phoenix's trailer, then at the comments. After scrolling for a while, she saw a comment about Liu Jiwei. There were a bunch of comments under it, all praising this new actress. She looked up, and glanced at the kitchen. This was probably a first for her too. Sang Won-si did not know if Liu Jiwei saw this comment when she was looking at the comment section today. She got up and walked to the kitchen with her phone. She wanted to let Liu Jiwei see this comment. She wanted to tell her, you're worthy of being liked. There will be a lot of people who discover you and like you. From now on, you'll only get better and better. When she walked to the entrance, she saw Liu Jiwei laughing and chatting with Xiao Chu as she wiped her hands. Xiao Chu was recalling a tale about when she was small. She disregarded her own safety and climbed a tree to pick fruits to eat, and got punished by her parents. In the end, because the fruits were too delicious, she forgot about being punished and climbed the tree again the next day, angering her father. Liu Jiwei was amused and sympathetic, reaching out to pat her head. It's okay, it's all in the past. Xiao Chu nodded, yeah, it's all in the past. Now I don't have to climb trees and my dad won't hit me anymore. Liu Jiwei could not help but laugh, you are so cute. Seeing this, Sang Won-si's eyebrows furrowed. She felt uncomfortable, unhappy, her chest felt sour and constricted. As if her treasure was about to be stolen. She did not understand why she would feel like this. Because Liu Jiwei said someone else was cute, because Liu Jiwei was close to a woman. Because Liu Jiwei was close to someone of the same sex, she froze, her heart suddenly feeling happy at the sight of Liu Jiwei's smile. She had her answer, it was right in front of her. Xiao Chu, she said. Bring the food back to eat. Xiao Chu turned to look at her. Sang Won-si calmly looked at the time, then found an excuse, you have worked hard today too. Go back early to eat and wash up and rest. Xiao Chu was an intuitive person, she would not stay and make her boss annoyed when she knew she wasn't wanted around. So she happily said, okay, then I will pack up the food to go and eat while I am watching television. I will bring breakfast for you guys tomorrow. Sang Won-si agreed. Liu Jiwei had just coincidentally finished cooking, so she put a portion of food into the containers. Sang Won-si sent Xiao Chu out. Xiao Chu happily held onto her takeout, remember to call me if there is anything. Sang Won-si said in a soft voice, there is nothing else tonight, have a good rest. She saw Xiao Chu off. Sang Won-si closed the door and returned to the kitchen. Liu Jiwei was plating the dishes, then started to arrange the plating on a whim. Walking behind her, Sang Won-si reached out and hugged her around the waist. Liu Jiwei froze for a second, and when she returned to her senses, Sang Wansi had already placed her chin on Lu Jiwei's shoulder. Her actions were intimate, and she was close enough to hear Lu Jiwei's breathing. "What is wrong?" Lu Jiwei asked. Sang Wansi's heart calmed down. When she hugged Lu Jiwei, it felt as if she possessed her. The jealousy from before faded away. She tilted her head to look at Lu Jiwei, smiling. "I wanted to hug you. My answer, my heartbeat. My Lu Jiwei."